The storm has now arrived. Hey guys, it's StormBoy13. Tonight I decided to do I'm gonna talk about another latest UK weather request events. Tonight I want to talk about Storm Desmond, which happened in December 2015 across the UK, and it was quite a severe storm. So what was Storm Desmond about? I know it was a little bit similar to the 2015 to 2016 floods that the UK had nearly 2 winters ago, but I didn't talk much about Storm Desmond, so that's why I didn't give much detail. So I thought I'd save it for that individual storm, and that's perfectly fine. So I thought I decided I'll talk about Storm Desmond. If you want me to do any others, like latest to a long time ago, comment below. I'll mention that again at the end of the video. So what was Storm Desmond about? Well, here we go then. As you know, it was an ex-tropical cyclone and the fourth named storm, obviously, of the 2015-2016 season. Notable for directing a plume of moist air known as an anticyclonic river. It brought record amounts of orographic rainfall, not surprisingly, doubling areas of northern Atlantic Europe and subsequent major floods. The UK, the worst affected areas was Cumbria, parts of Lancashire and the Scottish borders. Ireland, the worst affected areas were the Shannon River Basin in the Western Irish Midlands. So, long bit I'm going to have to tell you about. The extent of damage caused in such a short space of time across wide areas brought into focus the performance of the UK, central government flood defence strategies. Expensive flood defence systems were proven ineffective in some cases. It appeared to increase the problem. Professor Dieter Helm, chair of UK Government's Natural Capital Committee, stated in January 2016, the flooding crises tend to follow an established pattern. First, there is immediate help and assistance. Then, second, there is a review. On occasions, this leads to a third stage of genuine reform, but in most cases, sticking plasters were applied. These are incremental and often sensible, but typically fail to address the core issues and hence provide only a temporary respite. There are very good reasons why sticking plasters will not work at this time. The conventional approach to flood defence, carried out by the Environment Agency and financed largely by the Treasury, is the best and efficient. Sometimes it is even counterproductive, encouraging the sorts of land use and land management decisions that can actually make flooding worse in the medium term. So the chairman of the UK's Environment Agency, the body responsible for main river maintenance, resigned in early 2016. The UK Government House of Commons Select Committee for the Environment challenged the Chief Executive Officer of the Environment Agency on its performance by stating, Sir James Witham, CEO, said the capacity of the river doesn't matter. You've got to be certain the leopard has changed its spots, and I will keep repeating this. You haven't really given us an answer as to whether you have monitored the situation. I'm fearful. You allowed the River Parade Somerset to sill up. You allowed the Tone to sill up. You allowed the tributaries to sill up, and then it flooded. The committee added, the EEA don't provide quotes for work when doing projects, so we can't compare like with other project providers. There is an argument for transparency on your spending. You say the right words and hold on to your power. Sorry about that bit. That didn't make much sense. Anyways, back to reality. Severe rain and some flooding has also been reported in Northumberland, North Wales and Yorkshire. Disruption from flooding, high winds and damage to infrastructure led to the suspension of hundreds of rail services across the country, with the West Coast main line was closed for several days due to flooding and even a landslide. Sports fixtures were also cancelled and more than 43,000 homes across North England were left without power, as well as over 2,000 houses in the Republic of Ireland and roughly 700 in Wales. The expected heavy rainfall was considered to be an extreme weather event by the Norwegian Meteorological Institute, who named it CN. The Free University of Berlin named the low TED as part of its Adoptive Vortex program. So let's go to meteorological history. A little bit how it formed or something. On the 4th of December, the day before the big day, the Met Office has issued a yellow warning for wind across most northern UK, with gusts expected to reach 70 miles per hour, 110 kilometres southwest Scotland. The yellow warnings have also been given for rain in Northern Ireland, North Wales and central Scotland. An amber warning for rain was issued past central and southern Scotland. Tayside and Fife forecasting up to 200mm, 7.9 inches of rain on high ground over a 30-hour period. Met's Eilrain issued a status red rainfall warning, very rare indeed, for areas of Connacht as well as counties Donegal, Clare and Kerry, with Clare County Council issuing a flood warning. Then the next day, 5th December, the Met Office issued a red severe weather warning for rain in Cumbria with 150mm, 5.9 inches, 200mm, 7.9 inches expected in some places. It was the first such warning since Storm Tinny in February 2014. The Environment Agency has severe flood warnings in place for parts of River Tyne in Northumberland and across Cumbria as well. The weather records. Storm Desmond broke the United Kingdom's 24-hour rainfall record with 341.4mm rain falling in Honish Pass, Cumbria on December 5th. The previous record was set in 2009, also ironically in Cumbria, when 316.4mm rain fell in Seawaite. The highest standard 9 o'clock GMT Central Time rain day record, however, remains 279mm at Martinstow, Dorset, set on July 18, 1955, as much of the historical data was recorded in this way. The 48-hour rainfall record also looked set to be beaten, with Tillamy reporting 405mm rain falling up to 8 o'clock Central Time on December 6th, compared to the previous record of nearly 400mm, 395.6mm, on the 18th to 19th November 2009 at Seawaite. So the impacts. Desmond created an anticyclonic river in his wake, bringing in moist air from the Caribbean to the British Isles, as was, well, obviously jet stream was very powerful at that time because of possibly the El Nino. As a result, rainfall from Desmond was unusually heavy, with the Norwegian Meteorological Institute designating Desmond an extreme weather event as a result of the expected rainfall. Heavy rainfall from Desmond has caused severe disruption. Appleby, Keswick and Kendal in the English county of Cumbria has suffered blocked roads, collapsed bridges, and some homes were evacuated. Cumbria Price declared the situation a major incident. Many houses in Carlisle were flooded, and tens of thousands of properties in Lancaster lost power when a substation was flooded. Around 5,200 homes were flooded in Lancashire and Cumbria, and approximately 1,000 people were evacuated from homes in the town of Carrick in the Scottish borders. As a result of the river to flooding, the River Nave burst its banks in Dumfries, flooding parts of the town, with a major emergency being declared in Dumfries and Galloway as a result. Landslides and flooding closed some main roads in Scotland, and counties Down and Tyrone in Northern Ireland suffered road closures from fallen trees. In the Republic of Ireland, the worst affected areas were the province of Connacht and counties Donegal, Westmeath, Timney, Lerwick, Clare, Cork and Kerry. Multiple, particularly local roads, were closed as a result of rivers breaching their banks and excess rainfall. In Connacht, the damage was worse in Albury, Ballinsloe, Carrick-on-Shannon, Claregalway, Clostermonia, Foxford and Galway City. Millions of euro worth of damage was caused in Brandon, Fermoy, Kenmare and Tally, while the Blackpool area of Cork City was severely affected by a high level of water flow in River Lee. Heavy rains also resulted in severe flooding in communities along the River Shannon, namely Antelope, Portsmere, Shannon Harbour, Montpellier, Castle Connell, Clogher, Paltine, Anticotti and Limerick City. The river breached its banks in Antelope on 9th December. Other areas affected due to heavy rainfall included Bray, Clonmel and Ennis. In Glasgow, I don't know how you pronounce it by the way, it's mainly Scottish, County Mullingar, the body of a 70-year-old man was found when his car was believed to have become trapped and dipped past a flooded road. Further heavy rainfall exacerbated existing problems on the Isle of Man, which had been struck by localised flash flooding on the 3rd of December, with warnings that Desmond could bring more flooding and more damage to the island. In Wales, heavy rainfalls led to flooding close to Langadee, near Bangor and Glenelg, with RNLR Coast Guard helicopters, don't know how you stand as for, rescuing one person from their car. Flooding was also reported in Anglesey in parts of Posen and around the South Wales city of Swansea. Wind damage was reported in Llandough as winds gusted 83 miles per hour within the Snowdonia National Park. A 90-year-old man was killed after being blown into the side of a Route 140 Fleet bus outside Finchley Central Tube Station, London, by a sudden gust of wind around 12:35 GMT time. A waterfall appeared at Maston Cove for a short time due to heavy rainfall. This has not previously happened in living memory. The electricity. 43,000 homes were left without power on December 4th in North East England, Yorkshire and Lincolnshire as a result of the storm, with 38,500 homes having power restored the next day. 624 hours roughly. 621 homes in North Yorkshire town of Leburn were left without power due to storm damage during the evening on the 4th, with 428 homes being reconnected to the power grid by Northern Power Grid later that day. The remaining 190 had their power restored the next day. In addition, over 2,000 homes were left without power in the Republic of Ireland as a result of Storm Desmond, mainly along the country's Atlantic west coast. Flooding led to at least 700 homes in parts of Wales being left without power. Power faults being reported in Corwen in Denbighshire, in Bala in Glenwood, and in Truro and Lancashire in Coney County. On the night of 5th December, the city of Lancaster, northwest England, saw 61,000 homes lose power when its electrical substation was submerged in floodwaters alongside the city's bus station and local supermarket. Houses in the surrounding towns of Morecambe, Hesham and Carnforth also lost power, and two nearby universities, Lancashire University and the Lancashire campus of the University of Cumbria, were forced to evacuate students, cancel teaching and postpone deadlines. Mobile generators had to restore electricity to most homes by the 7th of December when unforeseen damage caused up to 42,000 to lose power again, resulting in many being left without electricity for 3 nights in a row. Transport. Well, nothing major to talk about. There was disruptions and stuff like that. I'll say one for example because I got to get on with the video. Irish Trains Wales services between Bangor and Holyhead were suspended due to flooding, while services into Alchester were suspended due to high winds creating debris on the railway line, including a bus shelter which was struck by a train prior to service being suspended. Sports. Number of Scottish football fixtures scheduled for 5th December were postponed as a result of Desmond. In the Scottish Premiership, 3 fixtures were postponed. The match between Celtic and Hamilton Academical and the match between Parnick Thistle and Motherwell were both postponed due to waterlogged pitches following heavy rainfall, while the match between Hearts and Inverness Caledonian Thistle was postponed due to high winds. In addition, 2 Scottish Championship fixtures, 1 Scottish League 1 fixture and 2 Scottish Cup fixtures were also postponed on that day. Desmond also impacted English football in the National League. The fixture between Barrow and Boreham Wood was postponed, while the Football League 2 side Carlisle United's Sprinter Park Stadium was flooded with several feet of water on the 6th. Carlisle United played home fixtures in December and January at grounds in Preston, Blackpool and Blackburn. In Scottish Rugby, the Pro 12 fixture between Glasgow Warriors and Leinster was postponed due to a waterlogged pitch on the 5th. And finally, subsequent flooding. The village of Glenriding flooded for a second time on the 9th of December. Widespread flooding was expected after heavy rains on Boxing Day as a result of Storm Eva. That could be for another time, with the Met Office issuing a red warning for parts of Cumbria, Lancashire and Yorkshire. That's all the information done. I want to show you a video before I close this video.
As the Desmond deluge continued long into the night, the area affected widened dramatically by daylight. Carlisle this morning, where a major house-by-house rescue operation was in progress for much of the day. Elderly people, particularly at risk in houses without power, getting colder and wetter by the hour.
I didn't think I'd be bothered with it really. It's only started. I looked out this morning, there was no flooding at all. They're sitting in the house, saw the water coming up under the tiles, you know. It's quite frightening.
The army has been called in here to help an operation in a city already flooded so many times before. This is Emont Bridge, southeast of Carlisle, and one of the most extensively flooded communities of all. Our touching faith in technology cruelly exposed again. No, you can't drive these through 3 feet of water. Mountain rescue teams gingerly approaching people trapped. We watched as Sidney Hassel was taken to safety. There was 6 foot of water and a smell of gas. He said he'd never been so terrified in his life.
And it's going up the staircase.
Yeah.
And this morning I could smell the gas rising up. So I rang the emergency services up and he got me out straight away.
Ever seen anything like this anymore?
Never in my life, never in my life.
This is totally different.
Most scariest thing you could ever wish for.
Others came out on piggybacks, smiling through it all, though she was keen for someone else, also trapped, to get to higher ground. Getting to those stranded is not straightforward.
It came in just round the front, and it just gradually, within the hours, just started to raise. And then within 20 minutes, it was just pouring down this way and through. We stayed until about 11 o'clock last night, and it was about an inch away from actually coming in. and then we actually decided to leave.
Oh dear.
Across Cumbria, roads washed away, pulverised by the relentless rains. Bridges out, buildings all but submerged. And these Coast Guard images of people being rescued from a flooded rooftop indicate the power of the storm Desmond. Appleby this morning, Neil Dawson's place here, flooded out. He'd been in just 3 weeks and hasn't had time for insurance. He can't work, that's across the river.
Can't get to the bridge, and everywhere, local areas all flooded, so there's no way of me getting there at the minute.
And in Appleby, the story you get across Cumbria, towns and villages where they'll say they've had serious floods in the last 20 years, they've had what they were told were appropriate flood defences put in, and yet again, this. The rector in Appleby with the familiar lesson. We thought we had everything in place, we were wrong.
Did all the topographical surveys, we worked all the measurements out, built a flood bund last year and the year before, installed pumps this year, nearly finished paying for it, but unfortunately I'm told there is a foot of water in church this morning.
Keswick last night, where new flood defences were good, but not good enough, overtopped by the torrent of the river. Today there, the dismal stinking clean-up and the weeks of paperwork begin.
We were pretty sad because, you know, it happens because we live here, the water always comes in. It's happened at least every 5 years for the past 15 years.
New flood defences here 3 years ago after the 2009 inundation. Yes, they worked up to a point, but they didn't work well enough. Every time it happens, those in power to build flood defences lament it is a historic flood, a record, and it could have been worse. And so the pattern of failure goes on here again and again and again. Tonight in Carlisle, the patient search and rescue plan goes on. The River Eden, a vast open swathe of water right through the city centre.
Well, there you go. So yeah, I decided to do Storm Desmond tonight. Hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Give it a thumbs up. I'd love to see them. Like, comment, and obviously, most importantly, subscribe. Comment below for any more extreme UK weather requests. That would be great. Comment below. If you want me to do any global weather forecasting as well as that, I've not had that yet this year. Comment below. That's about it. Got something planned for Thursday, so wait and see. Watch this space. Like, comment, subscribe. The storm is now out.